2025. It is Sunday, December 28, 2025. Hope you had a nice Christmas. Hope you're having a nice holiday weekend. Thanks for being here on LCJ Live. Avatar wins again. I finally saw Avatar yesterday. I saw The Housemaid on Friday. We got to talk Marty Supreme. We got to talk about these animated movies making a lot of money all over this extended Christmas box office. We'll get into all of that and more coming up on the final LCJ Live of 2025. Thanks for being here. My goodness, it was a huge weekend for the movie theaters, and it still is really. $172 million for these top 10 films. And check this out, the bottom 9, because there's a distance between number 1 Avatar and number 2. But the other 9 made $108.7 million with an average of $12 million for each of them. That's very, very good. Merry Christmas, LCJ, says B. Hunter Woodruff. Thank you very much. I'm in my Marty Supreme gear. Got my ping pong balls. There goes one. There goes the other. And of course, have to have one for LCJ Supreme. That's right. We're here talking about the movies LCJ Supreme style, man. Because Marty Supreme did pretty well. It wasn't number 1, and it wasn't even number 2. But we're going to talk about how much money it made this weekend. LCJ Supreme. Whoosh, there it goes. I've got Nightmare Before Christmas pals here as well. These are brand new pets. This is a nice Christmas gift. Let's take a look at some of these comments. Sam B. Russell, Avatar 3 once again destroyed the haters. I didn't love the movie, but it's making money. Let's see. Did you have a rocky Christmas? I had a good Christmas. It was a good Christmas. Thank you very much. Movie theaters are back. Yes, it is cold. Marty. Pete Crooks, Avatar, easily the most boring movie of the year. It's up there for me as well as one of the most boring movies of the year. Absolutely. Yeah, and the ping pong balls, yeah. Marty Supreme did $17.5 million for the 3-day, $27 million for the 4-day. It's up to $28.3 million total to come in third for the Friday through Sunday box office for this weekend. Number 2, Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2 increased 35% this weekend, added $20 million. It is at $321.4 million domestically, over $1.4 billion worldwide. Huge. We're very close to the 341 for the total of the first Zootopia. And look, it's the number 2 Disney movie of the year in North America, behind Lilo and Stitch, but number 1 worldwide. Zootopia 2, humongous. We will get a Zootopia 3. It's got to happen at this point. When you make $1.4 billion and counting, you're going to get a Zootopia 3. For Marty Supreme, look, A Complete Unknown had an extended open last year for Timothée Chalamet of $23.2 million, totaled $75. We did better than that. We did $27 million for Marty Supreme for this extended run. Will it get to $75 million? It's at $28 right now. We will see what happens. Timothée Chalamet is a Best Actor contender for his performance in the film. But could Ethan Hawke or Joel Edgerton steal his thunder throughout the awards season? The fact that Timothée Chalamet won the SAG Award last year, and he should have won the Oscar for playing Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, will some SAG voters choose somebody else because Timothy just won last year and changed the momentum? That will be very interesting. Pete Crook's number 1 movie of the year was It Was Just an Accident. Stephen Lang for supporting actor. Stephen Lang has some moments. I don't think he's going to get nominated for supporting actor. He was also good, by the way, in Sisu, Road to Revenge. For number 1 for the weekend, of course, Avatar Fire and Ash. It added $64 million. It's at $217.7 total, $760 million already worldwide, so it's easily going to break $1 billion. How close can it get to $2 billion? I finally saw it yesterday. It really is very uninteresting. It's a very uninteresting film. The first half is better than the second half, but because, my goodness, that second half with the action and just awkward scenes and, oh gosh, it goes in ridiculous directions, and the visuals are not a wow factor anymore. There's nothing there to these Avatar movies. They're so basic. James Cameron, please move on. Please make something else. We do not need Avatar 4 and 5. Please get ready to hold that press conference you said you're going to have, where you're going to reveal what Avatar 4 and 5 would have been, and then we move on with our lives. Okay, please. Yes, they're making money. Yes, they're supporting movie theaters, which is wonderful. But please make something else. Number 4, for the 3-day, is The Housemaid, which I finally saw on Friday. The Housemaid added $15.4 million. It's at $46.5. It's the 3rd biggest Lionsgate movie of the year. Needs about $15 million and change to beat Now You See Me to become the biggest Lionsgate movie of the year. I think it's going to happen. It's going to need a good week this week and next weekend, but I think it's going to do that. The Housemaid isn't terrible. It's not. It's better than I thought it was going to be. Better than A Simple Favor. Not as good as some of Paul Feig's other films, but I think Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried are terrific. They should do a movie a year together. I mean, really, they could be in a rom-com together. They could be in Mamma Mia 3. Obviously, they've talked about it. They could be in a detective movie or a cop movie. Them as partners in crime, all of that. I could see that. I can picture that. They could become the next Hollywood duo. You know, we had so many of those legendary duos back in the day, and we could have, you know, these two making 5-6 movies together over the next 10-15 years. I could absolutely see that happening, and The Housemaid is a good start for that. Is it too long? Absolutely. Paul Feig makes long movies, and The Housemaid is definitely 20-25 minutes too long, but there are layers to the script. There are a couple surprises. There are cuckoo moments, which I expected. There are laughable moments, which I expected. But there's a little more there than what you think going in. So The Housemaid isn't bad. It's not terrible. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's actually the Actor Awards now. Yes, thank you, Sam. Yes, and I vote for the Actor Awards. I voted for the Screen Actors Guild Awards. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And they know it. They sent out an email to everybody and said, we know it's a transition year. We know it's going to be tough. Yes, the Actor Awards. We will see if Timothée Chalamet can go 2 years in a row winning Best Actor. I don't know. I think, do not be surprised if somebody else takes it, or if he's just on a run and everybody loves that performance, then he will win again. But 2 years in a row is tough. Yes, Renee Zellweger did it. Actress and supporting actress for the then SAG Awards. I'm trying to think if anybody else is going 2 for 2, but Renee Zellweger popped in my mind. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Do you think Una Chaplin gets in supporting actress? No, I don't. I didn't think she was as good as a lot of other people were saying. Housemaid Fun Garbage. Yeah, I do not think James Cameron's getting nominated for director. I don't think Avatar's getting nominated for Best Picture. Yeah, you know, it'll be visual effects and maybe a couple other things, and that's it. I really think people are tired of these movies. No Other Choice was out in limited release this weekend. Did about 600,000 over the extended holiday run. Also in limited release this weekend, another Amanda Seyfried film, The Testament of Anne Lee, which did about 111,000 over the extended run. The Coral made a little money. That's a good film. Is This Thing On made a little money in an expansion. Hamnet's made over $10 million. Father, Mother, Sister, Brother did about $100,000. So a lot of films opened in limited release. Let's run through the rest of the box office, then we'll talk about some other things. Number 5, Anaconda, which I did not see. I did not see Anaconda. It really doesn't look that good. $14.6 million for the 3-day, $23.7 million. It had a good Christmas day. $23.7 for the long run. And I think Anaconda is a movie that is making more money now here at the end of the year and the holidays and give people a comedy to see. It's making more money than it would have during the year. Sony Columbia did not have a very strong year. And this will end it on a high-ish note. You know, the highest movie Columbia had this year was 28 years later. Was it years? 28 years later, and the new one comes out in a couple weeks. I didn't see it. It only made $70 million, and that's the biggest Columbia movie of the year. That's the kind of year they had. Paddington didn't make a lot of money. I Know What You Did Last Summer didn't make a lot of money. Caught Stealing flopped, and one or two other things. But we're at 23.7 for Anaconda. I think it would not have done great. Even in the summer, it might have gotten lost. So it's taking advantage of the holidays. Housemaid, same thing. Some of these other movies as well. And then, of course, you have this run of animation films. Zootopia 2, we already mentioned. David added $12.7 million this weekend. It is just shy of $50 million. It is the third biggest Angel Studios film of all time. The King of Kings made $60 million. We're at 50 for David. I think it's going to pass King of Kings. And then Angel has Animal Farm coming out May 1st. Now we have in 7th the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, added $11.2 million. It's at 38.2. So we're so far away from the first SpongeBob at $85 million and the second one at $163. Times have changed. A lot of people watching these SpongeBob movies on streaming and other options for families. But it's at $38.2 million. It's the 4th biggest Paramount film of the year. I think it's going to pass Naked Gun to get to number 2, but certainly way behind Mission Impossible. It will not be the biggest Paramount movie of the year. Mission Impossible will be. Paramount's got to be a little surprised that SpongeBob is not making more money. but you have other options. And I thought of this when, Christmas time was around the corner. There are a lot of kids who like SpongeBob, and there are a lot of kids who are not SpongeBob fans. And so what other options do they have? Well, you have David for some, and for others, you're going to Zootopia 2, maybe for a second time. Number 9 this weekend is Wicked for Good, which had 5.3 million. It's at 331.6. It's only about 8 million away from passing Jurassic World. At this point, I think that's going to happen to be the biggest Universal film of the year, but we're so far away from the 473 million of the first Wicked. And rounding out your top 10 is another Universal film, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which added 4.4 million. It's at 119. It's the 4th biggest Universal film of the year, but I think a bigger accomplishment is the fact that it's made 119 million, and the first one did 137. That is very close to each other. So I think the Five Nights at Freddy's folks, Blumhouse, got to be happy that they are pretty close to what the first one did. So do not be surprised if we get a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 in a couple years. Eric DeGlumini, Jackson, anything you are looking forward to at the start of the year? Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie from Neon just released a trailer, loved it on the fest circuit. What's coming early in the year? Greenland 2. I'm looking forward to Greenland 2 because I like the first Greenland. Gerard Butler, when he's good, he's good. What else is coming out? Mercy could be hit or miss. We'll see. I was at that New York Comic-Con panel with Chris Pratt for that. We'll see. It might work. It might not. There's some animated films. There's some smaller films. This Chevy Chase documentary, which is coming out on CNN Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. It's called I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not. And it comes out Thursday on CNN, New Year's Day, New Year's night. So I'm looking forward to that. Love good documentaries. As I was looking through the number of films I saw this year, was a little down from the past few years. There were a lot of movies, horror movies I didn't see, and some other films I didn't see. A few of the little awards contenders-ish, not really. I've seen pretty much most of the big ones. But there were some I skipped. There were some TV shows I watched instead, other things going on. But documentaries, I didn't see quite as many documentaries this year as the past. There are a lot of documentaries that were interesting. The Pee Wee Herman film, number 4 of the year. But there were some that the topics just didn't grab me and make me want to watch them. But I'm hoping there are more interesting documentaries for 2026. That would be good. And to start off with the Chevy Chase one would be nice. Also, for the first weekend of the year, next weekend, we've got We Bury the Dead and The Plague. I don't know if I'm going to see either. Again, horror movies. I like some horror movies. Sinners was good. It wasn't a full horror movie. And there are others, but man, when Hollywood puts out at least 1 or 2 of these a week in theaters nationwide, and you're like, I don't know if I have time for all of these. And I didn't. And I know some who did and some who go, and they're making money for sure. I didn't see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 because I didn't care for the first one, but it's making money. We'll see. But that's the first weekend of the year. Hollywood throwing out a couple more horror movies, and then there's more. Primate is coming in early January, and there's a lot of that Send Help movie with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien is basically a horror suspense thriller. I might see that. If you look at the chart of how many movies were released this year, how many studios devoted to horror was more than ever. It kept rising and rising over the last couple of years, but this year, when you look back at 2025, you look at horror, you look at family films doing really well, you look at franchises, and you look at some original content like Sinners, or something with IP but wasn't a movie before like F1 breaking through. Yes, there were the franchises. Yes, all of that. Some original films snuck in. But a lot of horror movies. Mario 2 is going to be huge. I did like Secret Mall Apartment. I did like that. That was pretty good. What else? I'm looking at some of these comments. Animations in. Mario 2, yes. Sinners. Yeah, I liked it. Sinners, I ranked number 23. I did a top 25. You can read that at lights-camera-jackson.com. I did a top 25 of the year. Sinners at 23, right behind Train Dreams at number 22. Sentimental Value, I thought was all right. It's better than Jay Kelly. Mario's going to make a ton of money. It's going to be big. You got some early in the year movies that are going to make some money, especially once we get into February, like Goat and Wuthering Heights. And then we get into March, and Hoppers is out, and some other films that The Bride, that will certainly make some money. So the theaters will do all right. And now with these 10 movies that could really repeat next weekend unless We Bury the Dead and The Plague get into the top 10. These movies are all going to make money again for sure. There's a Kids Bop movie next weekend too. Kids Bop Live, the concert movie. Wow. Kids Bop's been around forever, at least forever in my lifetime. I would like to say this, because we are closing out the year 2025. This is the completion of my 20th year in this business. 20 years. I guess I'll take the hoodie down as I get a little sentimental and a little reflective. 20 years in this business. And I've seen so many movies. I was going to say, and I've also seen so much change and so many things happening in the industry and a lot has gone on, but I've seen so many movies as well. But it has been quite a ride. 20 years. Radio, television, print, online, the movie, social media. The impact has been incredible on the entertainment industry of what's happened with movie theaters and streaming and 3D and no more 3D and animation for adults. And I've seen so much happen over the last 20 years, and it's just been a thrill. It's been a thrill to be talking about movies, reviewing movies, getting to meet and interview some of the great filmmakers and stars of our time. The animation business is filled with so many talented people, and the respect I have for the animation community is incredible. What they do is remarkable. The storytelling, the kinds of movies that get made, the smaller movies, the documentaries, the hidden gems, the smaller animated films, the ones from international studios, along with the big blockbusters and the big awards movies and the awards season, and getting to attend events and shows and do so many things. It has been incredible. I appreciate the comments. Thank you. Started, January of 2006 for Radio Disney, AM 1460, and it's been quite a ride. And so cheers to 20 years. Here's to the next 20, and here's to positivity, staying positive, being honest with your opinions on the movies. That's what I've been, and being as positive as possible when it comes to looking at life and everything. So congratulations to all the movies that made money this weekend, to the movie theaters for persevering through COVID, which of course was a huge part of a huge moment in the last 20 years, was what happened to movie theaters, what was going to happen to movie theaters, supporting them, letting them stick around for people to keep going to them, drive-in movie theaters, supporting drive-in movie theaters. I think about the people I've worked with over the last 20 years in various capacities on different shows and projects and personal life and professional life. So many people who I've gotten to know and meet and who have had an impact on my life, as well as those we've lost. I think about my friend and colleague Fumi Kitahara, who passed away earlier this year. I was thinking about her the other day, and my thoughts and prayers still go to Simon, her husband, and family. And I think about the people I've gotten to meet along the way who are no longer with us, and including Roger Ebert and Regis Philbin, who inspired me to start up all of this 20 years ago. And so it's been quite a ride these last 20 years, and I thank all of you for watching, for supporting, for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Stay with us, because we've got more to come in the new year in 2026. Critics' Choice Awards next Sunday, Golden Globes on the 11th, and the Chair-a-thon was big, and yes, thank you. Appreciate the comments. We got the Golden Globes in 2 weeks. Critics' Choice is next Sunday. More award season, the Oscar nominations, the Actor Award nominations, BAFTA nominations, the Annie nominations are on the way, and I've seen all 15 of the Oscar shortlisted animated shorts. Q&As, including one tomorrow for Snow Bear at animationscoop.com. As always, go to lights-camera-jackson.com, lcj.podbean.com, animationscoop.com, toofast2films.com, X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at lightscamjackson, Facebook Lights Camera Jackson. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications. We'll be back live in the new year. Next Sunday, we'll take a look at what's happening with Critics' Choice, and we'll take a look at this box office for the first weekend of the new year. We'll preview what's to come in January and the rest of the year. Maybe I'll do some most anticipated things as well. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks for being here for LCJ Live. Have a safe and happy New Year's. Go to the movies, support your theaters, take care, stay positive, stay well. Thanks for the 20 years. Thanks for being here for LCJ Live. I'll see you in the new year.